CEST o Iglesia ni Cristo.
Yes, good morning, good etimidag, good kväll, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to INCRadio Northern Europe's satellite studio. I'm Brother Andre Palerasco, broadcasting live here in the local congregation of Oslo East, Norway, district of Northern Europe, and very, very happy to be here with my lovely co-host.
Ja, guten Morgen, guten Tag und guten Abend und willkommen bei INCRadio Northern Europe Satellite Studio. I am Sister Angela Domingo, broadcasting live from Vienna, Austria, and I am one of your co-hosts for tonight.
There we go. So very, very excited for tonight's broadcast. By the way, we're here in Norway and also back there in Austria. We use the Central European summertime. It is currently August 11, and that is 9 p.m. CEST, Central European summertime. Back there in the Philippines, if you're watching there, it is already Monday, August 12 at 3 a.m. Philippine time. So we have a lot in store, so please stay tuned. We have a lot to expect. For example, our CFO in Action, Christian Family Organizations in Action, where we showcase the different CFO activities here in the district of Northern Europe. And we have other segments in store for you as well, like Sister Ella.
Yes, you have our Let's Sing and Dance segment, and of course, our topic discussion, which will be going back to school.
Yes, and it's a very, very exciting topic because here in most of the Nordic countries and a lot of Northern European countries, we will start our school semester again this month. For some, it may be next week already, and for some, in 2 weeks. And with that, we need some tips, right? Because this is encompassing all levels of school, both elementary, middle school, high school, and also the college and university level. We need some tips on how to get back in our study grind and become very efficient and effective for us to be successful in our studies. And that is why we have invited guests from different school years so they can share their tips and their experiences. And for some, hopefully, all the viewers and listeners tuning in might learn something, and it might be the parents to help their children, or it may be the children themselves to pick up the tips directly. Where whatever situation you're in, even if you're not in school, these are some study habits that you can implement in your work life as well, and in just a personal level as well. So very, very excited. But before that, we want to greet all our viewers and listeners tuning in right now. We have so many comments. I see the chat section just getting flooded, and it keeps refreshing. I'm not able to keep up with how fast it's going, but I want to acknowledge all our viewers and the listeners there. And also, please keep commenting. We will especially look at the comments that are responding to our topic discussion. So make sure to join our topic discussion because we will read your comment there as well. We have some birthday greetings as well. So happy birthday to the August celebrants. We have here Sister Riley Castro on August 24 from Larvik, that is also in Norway, along with Sister Maya Castro and Brother JP Carmesis in Kristiansand. That's the southern part of Norway. And who else do we have at Ella? Oh, and you're muted. There we go. Oh, you muted again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now we hear you.
Okay, from Budapest, you have Sister Mary Grace Autos, Sister Vanessa Terrible, Brother Alexander Nasal, Brother Bonifacio Estrada, Brother Michael Magno, and Sister Rochelle Andres, which is our fellow multimedia officer. And from Vienna, we have Sister Aisha Espirito, Sister Macy Emminger, Sister Manilin Muega, and Brother Adio Mihailov. Happy birthday to all birthday
And
celebrants in August.
and also going back to my neighboring country from Norway to Sweden, we have some Sweden celebrants there. Kuya Carl Kenneth Valdez, he celebrated his birthday yesterday, so belated happy birthday, Kuya Kenneth. And Ate Selina Bolander, who will celebrate her birthday in 2 days, August 13th. So happy birthday from us. And back there in the main studio, Kuya Pong would like to sing for you a happy birthday song. So let's hear it.
Happy birthday to you. Maligayang bati sa'yo. Happy birthday to you. Maligayang bati sa'yo. Happy birthday po!
Now we have some viewers and listeners. Sister Rachel and Sister Wilma, happy birthday to you as well. And from Stavanger, we also have Sister Pearl. So happy birthday to you as well. And thank you so much, Kuya Pong, for that lovely birthday song. And with that, we'd like to go back to our topic discussion, which is again back to school. Now, when we ask the questions, make sure this is not only a question for our guests and the panelists, but also for you, dear viewers and listeners. So make sure to comment in the live chat section. With that, Ate Ella, let's introduce our guest, shall we? So we'll start here in my city of Oslo. And we have Brother Roby with us. Hello, Brother Roby. Could you introduce yourself?
Hello po to older viewers of INCRadio. I'm Brother Robbie Pineda, uh, and I'm a local officer and a district officer. I'm really happy to I'm happy to be here and thank you for the invitation po.
And thank you so much for being with us. And just a quick question. You are in middle school, right, Brother Roby?
Yes po.
There we go. So all the middle school students and parents with children in the middle school, take notes because Brother Roby will give some good tips later. Who else do we have at Ella?
Yes, we have my namesake, Sister Angela. Hello, Sister Angela.
Hello po mga kapatid. I'm Sister Angela Therese Yangat. I'm 16 years old. I hold the office of choir member, CWS Vice President, District Binhi Vice President, and the Binhi President of Stavanger po. Thank you so much po.
All right. So thank you for that, Sister Angela Yangat and Sister Angela Domingo for introducing your twin name, sister. We're going back to Oslo. We also have Sister Patricia.
Hello po, I'm Sister Patricia from the local of Oslo, Norway. I'm a member of the Kadio organization and I hold my duties in the choir and CWS Vice President. Thank you for the invitation po.
All right. So we have also Sister Angela. She just started high school, and Sister Patricia is on her last year of high school. So it will be very interesting to see how some different experiences and how that would how much we could get of tips and knowledge from our panelists. And again, team live chat, we are looking at you. Make sure to comment in the live chat section and participate in our topic discussion because this will be a very informative and interesting topic. So let's just start right off. We're starting the semester soon. So let's go back to Brother Roby. Brother Roby, what are you looking forward to in this upcoming semester?
For this upcoming semester, I look forward to the different challenges I can face. We will be having a new subject where it teaches you everything you need to know about making food in general. Sure, it can be difficult facing new subjects and challenges, but I always look forward to it.
There we go. So subject about food and cooking. I remember here in Norway it's called mat og helse, which literally translates to food and health. So that will be a very interesting class subject, and I'm happy you're looking forward to it as well because food is very important. and and food is very very good. As you can see, that I eat a lot of food, right? Ate Ella, how about you? Who do you like to ask next?
Yes, I would like to ask next, Sister Angela again. What do you look forward to in this upcoming school semester?
Okay, so since it's my first year po, I look forward to learning all the subjects that I need just for the line I'm taking po. The subjects that I need to be a nurse. Unlike middle school, we study all subjects po. So I find that very interesting po.
Oh, so you would like to become a nurse?
Yes po.
Oh, okay. So I'm curious. Is that
I think what Ate Ella wants to ask is like, is that like a specific course in high school to become a nurse, or is it just that you have that as a goal?
I have that as a goal.
There we go. Because and a lot of us here in at least I'm assuming with you and also with Sister Patricia, you go in general studies, right, in high school. So lots of different subjects to cover there. And yeah, how about you, Sister Patricia? What are you looking forward to this semester? This is your last year as well.
Yes, brother. So, what I look forward to this year is to learn even more about the different subjects I have for this year. I also look forward to reuniting with my friends and spend time with them during our final school days before graduation.
There we go. So very lots of different goals here, and that shows that each stage you're in school, whether it be middle school or different years in high school, there are different goals to achieve, and we're all rooting for you, our dear students, so that you may be able to reach your goals and yeah, so that you may attain the goal that you have. But going back to Brother Roby, one you said that you're looking forward to this subject, Mount Ohelsa, like subject about cooking and food. But so far, there in middle school, what are your favorite subjects in middle school? And why?
Um, my favorite subject in middle school is gym. Having gym as a subject that I also enjoy since it felt different from the other subjects. I was able to strengthen my physical body and learned about taking care of my physical health too. It was fun and interesting for me to have gym.
There we go. So that's gym in Norwegian, and I think in some call it physical education, right? So you learn about training and proper way to take care of your physical health. So that is also a very interesting subject, Brother Roby, um, and uh, and it's nice that you have that as your favorite. A lot of students back in my day did not like that subject at all. They did not like to be pushed to their limits. But it's nice to see you welcoming and embracing that challenge, Brother Roby. Now we're talking about studying in middle school in general. Do you have any study tips for our fellow viewers and listeners that are going to start or already are in middle school?
Yeah, so my favorite way to study for an exam is by studying as early as possible. Uh, we all know that by studying early for an exam, you feel less exhausted, and as you don't have to worry about not being able to catch up before the exam. So my tips is therefore to study early before the exam.
There we go. So take your time, start early. That's a very good tip, right, at the Ella. Right? Perhaps you want to say something about that. Oh, you're muted again.
yes, because if you start late, you tend to procrastinate, and procrastination can lead to stress, and stress prevents you from learning. So, what Brother Roby said is right. If you study as early as possible, and also manage your time well. Um, so I also want to ask Sister Angela now, what experiences from middle school do you think can you use to help you in high school?
Okay, so an experience in middle school, which I know will help me po. It's actually a mistake I've made, but learned from it. But so the mistake I did was being way too focused and fitting in rather than focusing on my studies. So friends or bad influence po, can actually affect your focus on school po, which I think should be discussed more. But of course we should make friends. It's important that when we make friends, but we should also be careful on whom we are friends with. But kasi we might get peer pressured, involved in drama, and too drawn into what people of this world are doing, but which lead us away from the main reason why you're in school, which is to study for our future. So my advice, boy, is to focus on the studying and not making friends as your first reason to why you're in school. And if I'm making friends, boy, I make sure I'm wise and careful. But when I start high school, boy.
There we go.
Yes, exactly. I agree with what you said, to be careful in picking your friends. I personally, when I was in high school, um, my friends were always the ones who I studied with. So it was important to me that they helped me rather than distracted me. So, yes, thank you for that answer, Sister Angela.
Yeah.
Um,
I can also relate to that because that is such an important test because your friends will also uh, be the ones who you're with most of the time at school. So if they're doing the things that are, for example, they like to study, you'll automatically be influenced to study more, right? Uh, on the contrary, on the other end, if you choose friends that are a bit lazy, they don't like to study, it'll be harder for you to study because you're surrounded with all that energy and always having to push through that. So it helps with motivation, and it is so much easier. As you said, you won't get peer pressured into doing things that are not so good to do if you choose friends uh, that are following the correct steps, right? So that's a good tip, right? As also Ella commented on. Now we also have another question, and since you're starting high school now this semester, so basically you just finished middle school. What are your tips to those who are on their last year of middle school for them to succeed?
So to those who are in their last year, give it all your best and your full focus because there are times where we get tired. I get tired and demotivated often to the point where I stop. But that's actually one of my biggest regrets because even though it's even though it's very really hard to study, but you don't know how close you actually are. Because there was a time where I studied and studied, but I stopped because I was too tired. And the day of the exam, when I opened the exam, I was like, oh, I could have known to this answer if I just read that next page. So my point is, Bob, all you gotta do is continue and continue. Don't procrastinate. Don't be distracted, because your average grade is what will get you to your school you'll be taking for your future. Or that's what the system is in Norway. But I don't know if it's that with other countries. But yes, but give it all your best. Don't stop, and always pray before the exam and also before you study, so that God will give us the wisdom and the strength that we need.
There we go. So always pray. The recent listener says, members of the Church of Christ, we have our Almighty God to help us. And that also uh, is relevant for studying, of course. We need our Lord God's help so that we'll be able to succeed in our studies. And those are great tips, Sister Angela. Thank you so much for that. And we'll get back to you. Before that, I read a comment. We have a comment here from Sister Katharina Giep. I think that's your sister, Atela. She said, good luck to Sister Angela on her studies to become a nurse. I hope it will be a great journey. There, so you have some supporters here
Thank
in
you.
the live chat. And
she's also a nurse. That's why.
there we
Yes,
go.
yes, yes. So I also wish you all the best, Sister Angela, for your
Thank
studies
you, Bob.
to become a nurse.
Oh,
Yes. So let's move on to our next guest. Sister Patricia, we would like to know, how do you manage stress during the school year?
So, how I try to manage stress during school is to first avoid things that can cause stress. For instance, a common problem is procrastination. such as the other guest mentioned. It's like studying for a test or exam at the very last minute. Not only will this cause stress, but it can also cause poor performance. That is why it is important for us to prepare early than late. And if you can't avoid feeling stressed because of schoolwork or homework, take some time for yourself, get enough rest, and do things you enjoy. And that way, you might break from stress at school. And most important of all, pray to our Lord God for guidance and support.
Yes, I agree with you that it is very important to take rests. And I actually read somewhere that rest is a non negotiable because I used to think that I used to stress myself a lot when it comes to rest, that I can only rest when I finish 3 chapters. And if I don't finish those 3 chapters, I don't get to rest. Like for me, rest was like my reward. But it is important that you take a rest no matter what, because if you stress yourself, you won't get to achieve your goals. Yes. So thank you, Sister Patricia, for that answer.
Yeah, so that's a very great tip, right? Of course, as members of the church, we are being encouraged to be uh, hard, hard workers, right? So we have to work hard in all aspects of life, and that includes our studies. But we also need to remember that we also there's a balance to it, right? So don't overwork, right? So work hard, but don't don't overwork. So that's a great tip, Sister Patricia. And speaking of tips, do you have any tips for our viewers and listeners that are attending high school?
Yes, I do, brother, and that is to use your time wisely. Avoid the bad habit of putting all your energy into studying without taking off breaks. Just like you mentioned, overworking can lead to feeling overwhelmed and burned out. This will not only hinder your studies, but it can also affect your mental health. We need to recharge in order to perform well in school. It is very important, personally for me, to prioritize our health over for striving for the best grades. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle helps us to keep doing well in our studies and improve our overall performance in school.
Wow, so thank you so much for that. Remember, to viewers and listeners, remember to take breaks. Taking breaks is also part of studying. Um, one tip that, great tip that my teacher also taught me that really helped me to study is to take regular breaks, right? Make intervals for it because you learn. You also need to take a break so that what you learn it will kind of sink in to your memory, right? And you can't do that if you don't stop, if you don't take breaks. So taking breaks is part of studying, so remember that. So that's a great tip, Sister Patricia. Now with that, you're finishing high school this year, which is here in Norway at least, it's a very big deal because that's the um, basis of your like education. After that, people could work or people could go to uni or college to study further. So what are your biggest goals for your last year here in high school?
So, my biggest goals for my final year in high school is, of course, to pass all my exams so I can graduate. But before that, I aim to improve my grades from last year, stay focused on my studies while I maintain a healthy lifestyle.
There you go. So that sounds like that's a good balance to have, right? So we also want to succeed, but we want to do so in a healthy way as well. So thank you so much for that, Sister Patricia. I actually want to ask all our panelists here, Sister Angela, what are your biggest goal for this year?
It's
Uh,
just to focus really hard, but because I want to maintain good grades, but because last year I want to do better, but so just to focus really good, but.
there we go. And especially it's your first year in high school, right? So you really want to start on a good note. So starting with focus. Focus is key. How about Brother Roby? Do you have what are your biggest goals for school when it comes to school this year?
I have the same goals basically as the others, to do better from last year. So yeah.
There we go. So we're never regressing. We're always progressing, right? We always want to move onward because as members of the church, that's what we strive to do. We always strive uh, to become better as people. We want to better ourselves. We want to improve in every aspect of life, and here specifically in studying. So that's always something we should keep in mind. And that's always one of the goals that we should have every year in general, right? To always improve. And in this case, for our fellow students here in the panelists, it's to improve in their studies, right? Speaking of studies, we want to, we know we've heard some tips here, and from the viewers and listeners, you've taken notes of the tips and tricks from our panelists. But how about for a bit more personal? What is your personal favorite way to study for a specific test or exam? Let's go to Sister Patricia. Do you have a favorite way to study for a test or exam?
For me, of course, it depends on the subject, but personally and usually, I prefer studying alone because I get easily distracted by others and even my surroundings. However, if it's an oral test or exam, that's kind of different. So here I prefer to study in groups because group studies helps me to enhance my skills and knowledge through conversation, and it also helps me to mentally prepare myself for the oral test or exam.
Wow, so those are very two different ways and that you're implementing in your study technique. Working alone, which works best for like those written exams where you're alone, and working in groups where you're gonna have presentations or oral exams. So uh, that's also a very balanced way. Again, balance is a very key word here when it comes to studying because we really have to manage our time and also manage how we do things. How we do things is also there's also balance to it, right? Sometimes you're in groups, sometimes you're alone, and that's perfectly fine as long as that's what works for you, right? How about Ata Angela? Angela, do you have Sister Angela? Do you have any like favorite way to study for a test or exam?
Yes, but I also like studying alone. I always start studying 1 to 2 weeks before the exam, maybe 3 to 5 hours a day. Not every day, but again, don't overwork, but 3 to 5 hours a day. But when I do study, I usually silent my phone. I put on instrumental music in the background to help me concentrate because I live in a place where I can hear cars and people uh, pass by easily. And I also have small brothers who's loud. So music really helps. And I also have snacks on the side to give me energy and take lots of naps as well.
All right, so there we go. That's also a good thing you mentioned, right? Like uh, turning your phone on silent. We technology has progressed so far in a very good way, but also if used incorrectly, it can also be bad, right? Social media and just use of your gadgets, your phones, that could distract you from studying. So do whatever helps you to not get distracted. And for Sister Angela's case, that's to turning her phone on silent, or sometimes like there's a mode. Some phones have like a do not disturb mode, so that it's like not only silence but even calls can be silent. So very great way to minimize distractions, right? Now, how about Brother Roby? Do you have a favorite way to study for tests or exams?
Yes, Paul. So for me, I like to study in groups so that we can all help each other. So, for example, have a question about the test, or like because usually our teachers sometimes they give us uh, like a panel study thing so that we can all prepare for the test. And so if I have a question about it, then they can just all help me. So, yeah.
Yeah, so like make looking at the study guides and like goals for each subject. Each subject has a goal that they want you to, uh, like the learning outcomes. So looking at that and basing your study techniques or your studying based on those goals, learning outcomes of the subject, that's also a great way. We have a comment here from Sister Selina. She said, Selina Bolander from hashtag Hiltebruk, Sweden. She said, when I was studying, I used to read out loud. Hearing my own voice reciting and reading my review materials makes me remember what I'm studying better. So reading out loud, right? That's a good tip. Thank you so much, Sister Selina. And again, dear viewers and listeners, you are included in this topic discussion. We just read a comment from Sister Selina, so keep on commenting and contribute, share your knowledge with all of us, so that we can be more successful in our studies. So right at Ella, we've talked about ways to study for a test, exam, but in general, here as members of the church, how does your membership in the Church of Christ help you in your studies? Let's go back to Sister Patricia.
So, being a high school student, it can feel like you have a lot of on your plate and it gets easily overwhelming. So, for me, this is why my membership in the Church of Christ has always been such a great blessing in my life. So, no matter how stressful school life gets, I know that I can always turn to our Almighty God to find relief. And holding on to my faith gives me the hope and the strength to carry on and to work hard no matter the circumstances.
Thank you so much for that, Sister Patricia. That is correct, right? We have our Almighty God by our side, and of course, we have faith, but we also need to remember that faith alone is not enough. We need to put in the work, and of course, God will be with us if He can see that we really work hard in our studies, and we couple that with our prayers, our faith, and surely we will be successful in our studies. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, thank you, Sister Patricia. How about Sister Angela?
So, in our worship services, but we are always taught that school is important for us and that we should also finish our studies. And even though how hard it will get, I know that the strength and the help coming from God will help me to achieve a good future. But if I give my best and work hard, but so knowing that God will always be on my side, I know I will get through anything. But thank you, Bob.
Yes, that is right. You just give your best. You just do your best and always include your studies in your prayers, and God will always help you. Yes. And last but not least, how about Brother Robbie?
Yes, Paul. So, being a member of the Church of Christ helped me a lot in my studies. Knowing that we can always have God one prayer away, we can ask for anything is what I'm thankful for as a member of the Church of Christ. Studies can be hard sometimes, but I always remember to pray and ask for guidance if I'm facing problems and difficulties. I'm thankful for that God keeps me motivated to face challenges in life, whether it's in studies or in life in general.
Yes, very, very well said. That God is only one prayer away. Actually, when I used to study, before I study, I would pray to have the focus that I need, to have the knowledge that I need. Yes, so thank you also, Brother Roby, for that answer.
All right, and you can really see that he welcomes the challenge. His favorite subject is physical education. So studying itself is also a challenge. Then he welcomes that challenge, and of course, you may do so with confidence, knowing that God will be there by your side. So thank you so much for all our panelists, and we'll come back to you later on. So we've heard some tips and tricks from our students here in the panel, but I also actually want to ask Ataela, because you will also give some good tips. Actually, before we start, could you give us a background of your professional background?
I am a middle school teacher, and I teach English and music.
There we go. So not only do we have students here in our panel, we also have a teacher with us. So, Ate Ella, actually, I want to go way, way back to the first questions. Now, from a teacher's point of view, what's your favorite part of the first day of school?
My favorite part of the first day of school is seeing my colleagues again after summer break. We enjoy catching up with each other and motivate one another for the upcoming school year. I'm I'm really blessed because I have fellow teachers who support and always inspire each other.
There you go. So a huge shout out to the fellow teachers. If you know a teacher there in the live chat, you may shout them out. And
Yes, shout out to all the teachers.
shout out to all the teachers. Now, with that, it can be a very hectic schedule, right? Being a teacher, you have different. You said you have English and music. You have two different, very very different classes to teach. So how do you stay organized during the school year?
So we have our lesson plans that are mandatory, and I always plan ahead, like weeks, and do them in a weekly schedule. And I always try to stick to the schedule as best as much as I can. And also, I set up a routine or a system for grading homework or test papers. And I also regularly inform students and parents about any progress or if there's any improvement that needs to happen so that I can help them succeed during the school year.
Well, there we go. And that must be hard because not only are you teaching different subjects, you're also teaching into different classes, right? So every day is probably not a routine to you, right? Every day is probably very different, right?
I'm actually lucky with the school that I'm working at because we work in level teams. So if for example you teach first year middle school, you only teach first year.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then the next year you teach second and then third and then fourth and so on and so forth. Yeah, so I will only for September I will only be teaching first year middle school first grade middle school students.
Right. And we also have more tips from the team live chat. We have Sister Cheryl Ramos saying, managing time effectively is a big help in studying. Don't forget to put break time after an hour or two of studying to prevent overstressing yourself. Always ask for guidance of our Almighty God. Hashtag Tampere, that is in Finland. Thank you so much for that, Sister Cheryl. We also have from Sister Jenny. Jenny Hemeda saying, my most effective study method was reading the material twice. First read and then highlight important words, then close the book and write what I remember. I added what I forgot after that. Hashtag Vienna Center. So thank you so much for that, Sister Jenny. And also, we have another comment from Sister Selena. She's also saying, one thing I also learned is to not pressure myself in studying because it can be stressful as well as a student. So before I study, I always pray and it helps me calm down and focus better. Again, Sister Selena Bolander, thank you so much for those comments. And thank you to everyone who are always participating in Team Live Chat. So we've talked about what you like about your first day of school and how you stay organized, but in general, what do you like most about being a teacher at school?
Besides imparting knowledge, what I like most about being a teacher is being able to be a good influence and having impact on the younger generation. I've had students also ask me for advice in terms of what they want to do after middle school. I'm happy to be someone they can turn to for help.
Right, there you go. And it's such a meaningful job, right? And you can see the growth process of individuals and just seeing how they improve themselves in different ways. So, and seeing that from your point of view, that must be feel so rewarding, right? Now talked about giving students advice. To the panelists here and to all the viewers and listeners tuning in who are students, what is your advice for the students for them to become successful in their studies?
Yes, it has been mentioned a lot now, but yes, I would say manage your time wisely. Set a certain time for studying, but also, as we said, it's important to set your time for your rest, and also, most importantly, to make time or prioritize your church duties. To also develop good study habits. Like to avoid distraction, put your phone on silent or on do not disturb mode for you to be able to focus. To participate in class, which not only gives you plus points with your teacher, but it also helps you remember what happened in class because you were engaging, and it also helps you to realize where you need help in, and if you need help, to always ask for help, and also take care of your health, to eat well, to sleep properly, to always drink enough water, and etc. And most importantly, always include your studies in your prayers.
Right, and we can't emphasize that enough. Uh, the power of prayer is very, very strong, dear viewers and listeners. Um, you might be very, very surprised to see, like, it's a very difficult subject. You might think that it's impossible, but you have to pray, have faith, and put in the work. And once you know it, you're in the exam, you're sitting there and you think, wow, I know this, I can pass this test. And yes, you can surely pass this test. So thank you so much again at Ella for those wonderful tips. So we got some tips from students and also a teacher, and also some tips from Team Live Chat. So hopefully you all enjoyed this segment, but don't go away yet. We have more segments to showcase. This next segment, it's called Let's Sing and Dance, where we showcase the musical talents of the brethren here in the District of Northern Europe. For this week, we want to showcase you a cover of the INC original music called I Have You, and this one is performed by the brethren there in Copenhagen, Denmark. So let's enjoy I Have You.
When darkness surrounds me and all seems lost, and the problems I face are seemingly insurmountable, I bow my head and pray, full of hope, 'cause I have the Almighty who will save me from trouble. People fear for today and worry about tomorrow, but I won't despair. I know you get rid of my sorrow. This world may feel hopeless with its stress and spreading illness, but with your help, my Father, I'm truly blessed. Never stop serving you, my God. Even when I'm down, you call me with your love.
so much for that wonderful performance by the brethren in Copenhagen, Denmark. Shout out to our brethren there in Denmark, District of Northern Europe. So with that, we will go on to our next segment called CFO in Action, where we showcase some of the activities held here in the District of Northern Europe. First up, we will show some pictures as well. And this first activity is the community service, where we held a blood donation, and that was held in Stockholm, Sweden. So we can show the pictures there, Kuya Pong. So, as the Church of Christ celebrates its 110th anniversary, the District of Northern Europe, spearheaded by the brethren in the local congregation of Stockholm, along with the group worship service of Skanstul, Ninasham, and Arboga, continue to obey God's commandment to do good and help those in need by conducting a blood donation drive. Through this, the brethren were edified in their faith, and furthermore, by donating blood, they were able to save lives. So we see this in the picture, right, Ate Ella. This is such a nice activity, and we're really giving back to the community, right? Um, so thank you so much to the church administration for allowing us to have activities such as these made possible. And big shout out to the district as well. And a big shout out to the brethren there in Sweden for hosting this activity. Now we have another activity. This one is called the two-way radio seminar. And in this activity, the two-way radio, we learned about, you know, some things that an amateur radio could do, and things needed to get into that field. And I learned some basic fundamental knowledge about radios in general and how they're so important, right? We live in this world today where we could use our phones to communicate, right? But we need data, we need signals. Uh, but once that suddenly goes out in an emergency, how else could we communicate? And this is where radios come in handy, because regardless, if you're in a tunnel, deep in the tunnel, your phone signal won't reach. Radio signals could do that independent, and the devices are also sturdier. So this was such an important seminar, and we gained some very very valuable insight, especially during emergency times. So radio, two-way radio seminar. Thank you to Brother Eric Palarasio for conducting this seminar, hosting this seminar, and thank you to all those who participated as well. And we have also another activity to showcase, right, Adela?
Yes, our worldwide evangelical mission. In commemoration of the 110th anniversary of the Church of Christ, the District of Northern Europe united with our church administration in the worldwide evangelical mission held by our CFO coordinator, Brother Angelo Aramio Manalo, through live streaming from the Philippine arena. This evangelical mission did not only help our friends and loved ones to hear the true teachings of our Lord God by sharing our faith inside the Church of Christ, but most especially, this brings joy and honor to Him as we continue to follow His commands by inviting more people to listen to the holy teachings of our Lord God. Yes, so as you can see, we several congregations of our district invited many guests to this special activity. And we can see, our district is always united with the church administration.
That is correct. So we want to thank everyone for tuning in. Before we leave off, we want to read all your comments, or we wish that we were able to read all your comments, but we'll read the ones that we can see here. Starting from Sister Rochelle Andres in greetings, Paul, to all from #Budapest, Hungary. We have Ma Lourdes Idoreta, happy viewing from #Bucharest, Romania. Shout out to the brethren in Romania. We have Paulette, a vlog. She's a vlogger, and we have Kids Bokters also tuning in there. Sister Shannon Hansen from #Copenhagen, Denmark. We have Rowena Umaguing from Zagreb, Zagreb. Ronald from Budapest, Hungary. We also have Sister Florencio Jimenez saying happy viewing from Vienna Center. Sister Selma Mariano, happy viewing po. To Carl Kenneth Valdez, shout out to you, Brother Carl, from Stockholm, Sweden. And Brother James Bautista, hashtag Zagreb, hashtag Pazin, and hashtag Bucharest. We have Cruzbert Cruz saying greetings po brethren from local of Stavanger, Norway, with lots of Norway flags. Sister Tamara, hello, Sister Tamara, there from Vienna, Austria, Vienna Center, Austria. Brother MK saying shout out to all the brethren here in Austria as well. Shout out to all the brethren there in Austria. Brother Fred Rigor saying happy viewing to all from brethren watching from Helsinki. Hello to the brethren in Espoo, Vanta, Hivinka, Kaunas, Tallinn, as well as hashtag Turco and hashtag Tampere. And we have many more greetings, right, Atela?
Yes. Hello to Brother Mark Anthony Reyes, Brother David Estoy, Sister Marites Nugal, Sister Jem La Cuesta, Brother Jimon Cagas, Sister Maxelinda Corpus, um, Sister April Rose Alba, Sister Janice Alba, um, Sister Janet Valia, hello po, Sister Noemi Bueno, and it keeps flooding. So, before we move on to the shout outs of our guests, we would like to greet another batch of birthday celebrants there in Zagreb, Croatia. We have Brother Melvin Martinez, Brother MacIver Morante, Brother Roberto Albino Jr., Brother James Bautista, their resident ministerial worker, Sister Rowena Umagui, Brother Erwin Gina, Sister Agustina Kayangan, Sister Ariane Villegas, and from Bucharest, sorry, Sister Ingrid Manaloto. Happy birthday once again to all of you, brethren. Now, let's move on to our shout out round, shall we? Let's start with Sister Patricia.
Yes, boss. So shout out to my family that I hope is watching today because they are working right now. Shout out also to my ate and kuya, sister Gwyneth Rigor and Kafred Rigor. Shout out to all my friends in Norway and in other parts of the world. And shout out to my family back in the Philippines. Hello guys, I miss you so much and I hope to see you next time soon.
And thank you so much, Sister Patricia, for joining us tonight. We also have shout out for Sister Angela.
Okay, so I'd like to give a shout out to all the members in Stavanger, especially to my Tita Pearl. Happy birthday po. A special shout out to our resident minister, Ka Paolo Guarin, to his wife, Ka Archie, and to Sister Marla. Special shout out to our district minister, Kavizar Balsita, and also to his family. Shout out to all my friends from Central Europe. Shout out to Sister Bree from Stavanger, Sister Romina from Oslo East. I really miss you all. Shout out to all my family in the Philippines, especially to my Nanay Aida and Papang Fuji. I really miss you all. Shout out to my family, Kaleo, my dad, Kasusei, my mom, and also to my brothers, Daniel and Gabriel, and to all the guests and viewers. I wish you all the best on your first day of school po. Salamat po.
And we wish you all the best as well, Sister Angela. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
po.
Last but not least, Brother Roby.
Yes, po. So I would first love to give a shout out to my family in Norway, my mom and dad, Carol and Kavibian, Ervik Ayla, and also my friends and relatives in the Philippines. Shout out to my friends, Brother David, Jaden, Lucas, and also to my friends I got to know in Sweden, Kuya Frederick, Ate Benice, Ate Jem. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. At last, shout out to our district officers along with our CFO overseer in our district, Oliver Nugget, our district assistant minister, Kajay Kadik, and our district minister, Kavi Sarbalsita. Thank you, bro.
Thank you so much for joining us as well, Brother Roby. And we want to thank all our guests, all our viewers and listeners tuning in to INCRadio Northern Europe. That is every Sundays at 9 p.m. Central European Summertime or Mondays at 3 a.m. Philippine time. We want to also thank Kuya Pong. Kuya Pong, thank you so much for always being with us. Our tech back there in main studio in the Philippines. So very early Good morning to you, Kuya Pong. And thank you, of course, to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, for allowing us to have a program such as these, as well as to Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, our CEBSI President and CFO Coordinator. And who else do we have, Sister?
Thank you also to Brother Visar Bansita, our District Supervising Minister, and Brother Jake Edick, our Assistant District Supervising Minister, and Brother Oliver Nagit, our District CFO Overseer.
So that concludes our broadcast here on INCRadio Northern Europe Satellite Studio, and we will see you again next week. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone.